Okay, I want to circle back to Adam Ratliff, who's a local online video guy. I've tried to pin this down to figure out if I can figure out the money that was spent on these social media videos on the downtown project.
Okay, it sounds like there's still some lack of clarity about my involvement in all this, what we've been doing behind the scenes, and how all this came about. For those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Adam. I'm the guy that Evan was talking about on the radio.
But did his service provide what you were hoping for? I mean, you throw up a few videos, everything's great, downtown's fantastic, this is going to be fantastic. I mean, did it accomplish what you were shooting for? Because I've never talked to him. I couldn't call him and find out when downtown was down to one lane.
Look, I'm not that hard to get a hold of. Whether it's when I'm downtown working on the project, there's a whole bunch of different online email forms that go right to my phone. If you Google my first and last name, my website comes up first, which even has my personal cell number on it. You can call me. Call me anytime. I'll probably screen the call, but you can reach me.
To me, that doesn't seem like communication was ramped up at all. I didn't see any changes on communication with the addition of another staffer.
All right, let me show you what we accomplished with digital outreach for Project Downtown Pullman. On YouTube, we produced a total of 42 videos and racked up about 14,000 views. On Facebook, it was quite a bit more than that, although these numbers are just from September. Instagram, we saw similar big numbers, but video views aside, the numbers that I'm most proud of are the reach. In a community with only 33,000 people, we reached pretty much everyone with a social media account in the region. We built an email list with almost 1,000 recipients, and our newsletters consistently got around a 50% open rate. Those numbers are fantastic for this industry. I'm really proud of the work we did, and yeah, I think it made a difference.
And did that help?
I believe it did. We had a number of community members that not only watched the videos, but also expressed that they appreciated what they learned from the videos. It helped clear up miscommunications that were going on within social media where different people are saying, well, this and this and this.
I mean, regardless of how you feel about Project Downtown Pullman, you got to admit that social media rumors can be crazy. And in the months leading up to construction, there was a lot of misunderstanding being passed around. This whole thing started for me when I self-published that video, Adam Explains the Downtown Project. This was the video that really kicked off my relationship with Welsh Comer. Some of you may not know this about me, but I've got a little hobby doing explainer videos for engineering projects. It's something I'm passionate about, something I really enjoy, and I kind of have a knack for it. I produced that first downtown video because I was personally frustrated by just all the misunderstanding I saw swirling around. A lot of people were misunderstanding how these construction projects work, so I made this little 8-minute video. It was fun. I cranked it out in, I think, 3 days. At that point, I had never met with anyone at Welsh Comer, and I certainly did not expect them to call me. But they did just a few weeks later and said, hey, we really like your content. We're wondering if you can help us out with another project. I had my first meeting with Welsh Comer in late January of 2024, and they retained my production company services for another project in another city. But a couple months later, and things had not cooled down. A lot of heated arguments were happening, and there was debate about whether or not this project should move forward. After the city council vote that greenlit the construction phase of the project, Welsh Comer asked if I would join the Pullman project as well. And I immediately said yes, absolutely, this is a dream come true. I'm a small business owner based in Pullman, but most of my work is actually out of the area. I consider it an honor that they asked me to serve in this capacity in my hometown.
Let me just ask you, can you tell me how much he was paid on these social media videos? And here's why I bring it up. Is because, as we've seen more than once on the cost overruns, we see normal things that we knew were happening that got more expensive. Very curious to find out what the cost is. Maybe it's $500, maybe it's who knows.
All right, I'm gonna try to answer this in a way that's both fair and transparent. I'm a small business owner, and as such, I've got expenses. Welsh Comer didn't hire me personally, they hired my company. We've got a staff, we have a payroll. We have to pay for facilities, we have to pay for equipment. When it's all said and done, our invoices to Welsh Comer are gonna be somewhere between 60 and 75K. That paid for many hundreds of hours of production, including hundreds of field visits downtown, photography, videography. We installed time-lapse cameras on the roof of the Evolve building, and then the editing. Hours and hours and hours of editing. We were contracted to do 3 videos a month for a 7-month project. In the end, we ended up producing almost 50. This is hands down the largest quantity of content I've ever produced for a client on a per dollar basis. We dramatically over-delivered on this one. I actually stopped time tracking on this client a long time ago because I didn't want to get depressed at the thought that maybe I was losing money. But honestly, it was totally worth it. We're actually not done. We still have 2 major explainer videos still in production right now. We're going to do a deep dive into the project timeline and explain exactly what we set out to do and how the timeline changed and why things were late. And then we're going to dive into the budget and show exactly where all the money went. I've been poring over spreadsheets for several weeks. It's a lot. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my teammates, specifically Courtney Kramer. She handled all the on-the-ground public outreach, and it was just amazing to work with. She's a true professional who pressed through doing a job that wasn't always fun. It was a pleasure being out there with the engineers from Welsh Comer. I really want to find an opportunity to show the public exactly what an engineering firm like them does. Because for the most part, you guys just see the final results and maybe the public engagement along the way. The whole project is backed up by a team of extremely competent civil engineers doing a ton of work, mainly out of view. And the team at Welsh Comer is top of the line. Also, shout out to Apollo Construction. They were fantastic, working long hours and adapting to a very complicated and ever-changing work site. Everything that we expected about the underground utilities being difficult and complex, it was so much worse than we thought. Shout out to Apollo for making our downtown revitalization look as amazing as it does. As I wrap this up, I want to say a special message to Evan Ellis. So if you're not Evan, just keep swiping. Okay, are they gone? Hey man, we haven't actually met before, but you mentioned me on your radio show the other day, so we should hang out or something. I checked you out on Facebook. Looks like we're both vandals. Looks like we both lived here on the Palouse about the same amount of time. I mean, it sounds like we have a lot in common. And by the way, you are the closest thing our community has to a beat reporter. I actually really appreciate what you do. So hey, hit me up. Let's go grab lunch sometime. I know some great places to eat downtown.